A longtime friend of Jeffrey Epstein accused of helping him meet those young girls facing some very serious charges. Fox 5 legal analyst Wendy Patrick joining us now to explain what is next in the case against Ghislaine Maxwell. Wendy, good morning.
Good morning, Shelley.
A few weeks ago, Sam Rubin, our entertainment reporter, had suggested to me, I was looking for the newest show to watch to make time pass, and he told me to watch that documentary series, Filthy Rich. I watched it, couldn't stop watching it, and when it was over, I stopped and I looked at my husband. I said, how has Ghislaine Maxwell not been arrested?
Right. Well, I think you have got an answer this week, Shelley, and you're going to hear more when she's arraigned this week. This has been a long time coming. This scandal has dogged both she and Epstein for years. There have been victims that have come forward over the years and have been so frustrated that they haven't been able to achieve any justice. Remember last year when Epstein was arrested, finally these victims were saying we can start the healing process by achieving some level of closure, facing him in court. Then, of course, we know what happened there. He committed suicide. Now, with the last week's arrest of Ghislaine, they are again hopeful that finally they are going to be able to achieve some measure of closure. Remember, that's part of the process for them. Now, the challenge on the part of the prisons is keeping her alive, keeping her safe from other prisoners and from herself, for the sake of the victims. It's almost a twist of irony, Shelley, isn't it? And in terms of what she's facing, according to the allegations, this was a partner of Epstein's, not somebody that was under the influence of Jeffrey Epstein. And the question then is going to become, was she a boyfriend? Basically, was he a boyfriend to her, or was he a boss? Or was he both? And I know that documentary pretty much laid out all of those options.
Yeah, it was a very bizarre, and I know that somebody needs to go to court. There's a whole legal to be proven whether you're involved. But when you watch the documentary and you watch the involvement, I kept asking myself, why is this taking so long? The evidence is there. You have victim after victim after victim explaining her involvement, details, like the littlest detail. You can't make that stuff up.
No, you can't. And like we say, patterns make the predator. And that is one of the reasons why multiple victims will make a stronger case, particularly if the pattern has to do with the same MO in terms of recruitment, which is Ghislaine's role in all of what's been going on. And we know that because the grand jury indictment lays that out in detail, specifically how she would befriend the girls, how they would build a relationship, which is one of the reasons why this kind of closure by facing her in court is going to be so valuable, because it's a betrayal of trust. These aren't sex offenses, somebody leaping out of the bushes and attacking a stranger. This is a cultivation of relationships, sometimes over years, with an international spread, Shelley. And that's the other interesting thing, is people are wondering, is Ghislaine simply going to start naming names in order to cooperate? And even if she does, will she still herself face a significant amount of custody? She sure does now under the current charges.
It will be a closure for those accusers, for those dozens and dozens and dozens of young girls. But there's also a bigger meaning to all of this, Wendy. When you especially watch that documentary, you see the involvement of the people who were involved, high-profile people involved in this. What does this mean in a bigger sense, in the bigger picture?
Such a great question, Shelley, because it is a bigger issue and it happens under the radar so many places in the world, especially among the kinds of society where we wouldn't expect. Look at the high society types of people that are being at least implicated, if not targeted. Now, it's true some people may have had no idea that this was going on, but that could be a question of fact for a jury in the future. What will happen now, Shelley, is exactly that. Just like you saw portrayed in the documentary, are there other players that in fact knew that they were getting together with underage girls? Were they involved? Did they know? Did they have a role to play? And many people may be nervous that Ghislaine's in custody, thinking about cooperating if in fact they might be one of the names. So we just don't know, but it is so significant that it is the final chapter, we hope, in a case that's been ongoing for years with, as you say, no doubt so many more victims than the 3 that are currently charged.
Absolutely. When will we see her in court, Wendy? Will we
this
see her?
week, either Thursday or Friday, and when that arraignment happens and they set future dates, Then behind the scenes, much of the legwork will continue if it hasn't begun already.
All right, Wendy Patrick, thank you. Always good to
Thanks,
see you.
Shelley.